coming to you live from Numancia, Aklan in Western Visayas in the Philippines. I'm having my morning cup of tea. Tea is my choice right now. Green tea, green tea. A little touch of honey in there with my green tea. Let me make sure I'm online here before I get going. All right, looks like I am online. Hope everyone is having a good day wherever you are. Um, it's Tuesday. I had to think about that. I had to think it's Tuesday morning here. Tuesday morning here in the Philippines. All right, let me get started. I always start with the weather. Weather here in Numancia, Aklan. Currently, it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I actually did not do my morning walk this morning because it rained. It rained this morning. I was like, what? It's like it hasn't rained here in so long, like at least 2 weeks. I looked outside and there was like light rain. So I was like, but it stopped now, but I can still see clouds. I can still see clouds outside. It looks like it's gonna rain some more, which is kind of good because everything here in Aklan province seems like it's turning brown. A lot. We've almost been in drought conditions here. So today the forecast here looks like occasional rain, thunderstorm in the morning. Sure enough, thunderstorm in the morning. Couple of thunderstorms in the afternoon. So we might even get thunderstorms this afternoon. So good deal, good deal. At least it's cooler. It's cooler because it's been hot here. Man, it's been hot here in the Philippines. The Pag-asa on the Weather Channel, it says here again, it's the same thing I've been saying the past couple of weeks now. Metro Manila, rest of the country, partly cloudy, cloudy skies with isolated rain showers. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed as far as the weather. Yesterday, the highs here in the in our Panay Island, in our area here, Panay Island, Dumangas, Iloilo, they recorded 113 degrees Fahrenheit heat index, and it's just hot. Even here, even right now, it's cooling off some right now because cloudy, a little bit of rain. But once the sun comes up here, man, the sun is just so intense. The sun is just so intense here in the Philippines. Dumangas, Iloilo, 113. And then even in Iloilo City, it says here, let me compute that because I don't want to give the wrong information. In Iloilo City, 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Yesterday was the maximum heat index in Iloilo City. That is just hot. That is just hot. I know here in Numancia yesterday, for sure we reached the 100 degree temperatures here also yesterday. Got a lot in the news, to report. Let me read some of the comments here before I get too behind. Brian, hey, good morning, my brother, Brian. Henry, hello. How we doing this morning? Hope we wouldn't great. Yeah, I hope it's gonna be a great day. Hopefully, cooler temperatures. So it's all good here in Numancia, Aklan. Good morning, Brother Gino. Good morning, Brother Jocano. Jocano. 113 in Iloilo. Yes, that was the highest heat index recorded in Dumangas, Iloilo. Dumangas is not very far from Iloilo City. 45 minutes, I would say 45-minute drive. I've been to Dumangas. That's where I go every time I want to go to Bacolod with my car. You can take your vehicle in Dumangas, Iloilo and ride the roll on, roll off in Dumangas, and it takes you over to Breadco Port in Bacolod in Negros Island. Alberto Sanchez, 19 more days for my schedule. Oh, nice, very nice, Alberto. That's awesome. I haven't been to Davao, but many people tell me it's a great place. My good friend Mark, he's there in Davao. He says he's been retired there now for a few years. He came from Ohio. He came from Ohio, moved to Davao. What is a good salary for a live-in maid? There in the Philippines. It depends where you're at. Depends where you're at, Alberto. In the cities, you're gonna pay more for a live-in maid in the cities, like Metro Manila, Cebu City, probably Davao City. Here in the province, you pay less because the minimum wage here in the province is lower. The range usually, they're saying the minimum wage in the city like Manila is supposed to be 650 pesos per day. Here in the province, they say it's supposed to be 350. So there's a 300 peso difference of minimum wage. So a good wage, depending when you are, like here in Calibo, if you have a live-in maid, I see the range between 8,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos. Just depends on the person hiring, the person looking for the job. So less than $200 a month, for a live-in maid. You can also get maids that just come in and clean your house, like JP in Calibo. He's got a maid that comes into his house that cleans his house like once a week or so. But the thing about the domestic helpers here in the Philippines, they're not just there to clean. They're there pretty much to do everything for you. They clean. If you got kids, they watch your kids. They go to the public market. Some of them can cook. If you find a maid that can cook, so that's why there's a variety or range of a salary. If it's an experienced domestic helper, a little older, they can do more. That's why sometimes here in Calibo, they'll pay them higher. Lower for if they're just like, out of high school or not even graduate high school and they're like young still and don't have a lot of experience. Like you can't send them to like the public market by themselves to like buy groceries. So, you would pay them less. Just depends. Good AM, Gino fam in the Panay Posse. There he is, Fortune, my brother in Bacoor in Cavite. Well, I better make sure plenty of water on me while I stroll through the area. Just a few more days. Yes, definitely, Brian. Just hydrate. You got coconut water is good. Lots of vitamin drinks now. And water, of course, but they're selling all kinds of vitamin water and all that. That way there's electrolytes, there's more than just water to hydrate. And then you can get watermelon shake, I have cantaloupe. I bought cantaloupe yesterday. There's fruits here that are good in hydration. So just eat more fruit, drink more. You should be fine. Good AM, Brian, Joe. Good morning, Fortune, everyone else. Monica said hi. Peanut Butter, hey, Peanut Butter Travels, hello. Thank you for joining the live stream. Back to work now. Near office, all right. Drive safe, Fortune. So you're not working from home, you're working at the office in Makati. Fortune, good AM, PBT. Kumusta, Lowell? From Oregon? God bless, my brother. Hope all is well. Mabuti ako, kapatid. Everything's going good here. Mom and Liana actually went to mom's house in Katiklan. Liana wanted to vacation in Katiklan with her nephews. She's got a bunch of younger nephews there. So Liana's there. They're gonna be coming back Saturday. So they're there for a few days. Mom's house is like 5-minute walk to the beach, Tabon Beach. So I'm sure Liana's enjoying with the relatives, swimming in the ocean, swimming on the beach. So it's just Dazzle and I and Khalil. Oh, Kalel is sleeping. Good thing. Good thing Kalel is sleeping because I'm the doggy sitter. I'm watching Kalel here. Fortune. Tomorrow work from home and hoping through also Friday. Yes, Friday here, May 1st here in the Philippines is the Philippines Labor Day. Labor Day here, Friday. It's a 3-day weekend here in the Philippines. Thank you for that, Fortune. I almost forgot. It's not on my list to mention that it's a holiday here on Friday. Labor Day in the Philippines. Good AM, Lowell. Good morning. Hey, JP, JP Calibo. Hello, hello. Good morning, JP. JP is in the house. Good morning, buddy. Morning, JP. God bless from Lowell. All right, let me get started. Started with the news here. Uh, Let me go here with the dollar to peso exchange rate 60.65. So still pretty high, nearing 61 there, nearing like the all-time high level. Right now, the some of the news. Volcano erupting again. If you're in the Canlaon, Canlaon volcano in Negros Island, 27 at 7:30 yesterday. It blew smoke again, blew ash and everything again yesterday. So that's an active volcano. One of the active volcanoes here in the Philippines. You got Canlaon, Mayon volcano, and Taal volcano. Those volcanoes just erupt often. Erupt often. So what if you're near the area of Canlaon? I'm sure people already know if they're near that area. Wear mask. You don't want to be breathing. You don't want to be breathing that ash fall for sure. Let me see here. All right, I got a lot of news, so I gotta like pick which ones, and then I've already talked about this. Like here in the Philippines, during the summer months, there's just a lot of fires here in the Philippines. Unfortunately, yesterday they had a fire in Boracay Island by the Diniwid area, 3 a.m. And the problem here in the Philippines, like here in the province, like in Boracay, a lot of light material housing, and a lot of them are like bumped up against each other because space is limited in places like Boracay. So hard for firefighters to fight fires here, especially with a lot of light material like bamboo, nipa, wood. Those things just catch easy. It's hard to defend, but very common here in the Philippines to have we're in the summertime dry season here, so lots of fires going on. Actually, actually saw an article yesterday. I can't find it right now here on my list, but remember 2 weeks ago that landfill in Navotas, that landfill I was talking about in Navotas in Metro Manila. 2 weeks ago, it caught fire. 2 weeks ago, and that landfill hasn't been used since 2025. So a lot of stuff there, landfill, a lot of toxic material, plastic, and all that. Well, yesterday I saw an article. It's still on fire. 2 weeks going now, and that Navotas fire is still going. So that's why it's danger air quality in Manila, causing you got plastic. You don't know what they put on those landfills that's burning right now in Navotas, and it's been burning for 2 weeks. That landfill in Navotas, adding to the pollution already, the bad pollution already in Metro Manila. So if you have any asthma, you have any respiratory issues, man, those are the kind of things that you have to consider if you're moving to the Philippines. Do you really want to live in like Metro Manila or Cebu City? Because Cebu City is not far behind. And the next article here, I'll talk about it. It says here, this is Metro Cebu, not the province of Cebu, Metro Cebu. Same thing in Metro Manila. here, the Metro Cebu, the city, Cebu City, Metro Cebu air quality reaches very unhealthy levels. From health officials, urge anyone experiencing severe symptoms to seek immediate medical attention. That's just a problem here with the cities, unfortunately, because a lot of your public transportation in the cities, they run on diesel. They run on diesel, the buses, the jeepneys, they run on diesel. And when if you've been here to the Philippines and ride behind, if I see it all the time when I'm going to Iloilo City, on our last trip. If I'm driving and I'm behind a bus or a jeepney, man, that cloud of black smoke, when they accelerate, it just all up in the air, all up in the air. And in the metro, Metro Manila, Metro Cebu area, there's just so many of them. So I would not be wanting to breathe that every day. That's for sure. It's like if you don't have respiratory issues or anything like that, you might develop it. You might develop it if you're on that. To me, that's why it's so important when you're selecting a place to land here in the Philippines or to live here permanently. You want to be breathing fresh air. It's like not a good thing. Especially in retirement. We're trying to extend our life in retirement. We're trying to exercise. We're trying to eat properly, and the big piece of that is you don't want to be breathing unhealthy, very unhealthy air, is what health officials are saying. I guess the air quality index, I guess they have some kind of index to measure the air quality, and it's reached 199, which is not good. It says very unhealthy. High concentrations of fine particulate matter were detected in Cebu City and Talisay City, where haze has been visible since April 17th. That's the other thing. That basically that smog, that haze that they're talking about, that's smog. I experienced some of that smog when I lived in Los Angeles back in the day. They had that thing in Los Angeles too, the smog. So that is not good. That's not good to be breathing that stuff. The weather conditions have prevented pollutants from dispersing and allowed vehicle emissions and road dust to accumulate. That's the one thing too. It is not just the pollutants that's coming out of public transportation, the diesel engine. It's also some areas here just got a lot of dust. It helps when it rains or during the rainy season you don't have dust. But when it's dry and when we have like drought conditions, man, there's just areas here that gets dusty, and dust, emission particulates. It's not good to be breathing all that stuff, man. Citizens who must go outside are encouraged. They're encouraged to wear protective N95 or KN95 masks to filter out fine particles. So they're even recommending for people in Cebu City to be wearing a mask. I would, if I was there, man, I would wear a mask. If I was I wear a mask now because, I'm immunocompromised, but it would not hurt to wear a mask. If you're in areas where they consider the air to be very unhealthy, I would be wearing a mask, man. All right, let me see here. Ooh, man, it's like I have to catch up on the GP now. San Jose, and May 1st. Hey, all right, St. Joseph Day. That's why our Labor Day holiday. All right, Fortune. San Jose is where Fortune is from in Antique, and they are having a fiesta May 1st. May 1st. Hello, Lowell, Fortune, Brian, Alberto, Fortune, fiesta time, man. Fiesta's fun, man. Fiesta, man. People here in the Philippines love a fiesta. Where is your country? I'm in the Philippines. Philippines, there it is, Philippines. Brian, yes. JP, Kalibo walking tip. Make sure you are extra careful walking past blind alleys. Tricycles do not stop and do not look. I have had them zoom past me at less than an arm's length away and had no idea. For sure, me, I've learned when I'm walking in Kalibo, JP, I always walk against the flow of traffic. I do not walk where I can't see the tricycles coming or cars coming from behind me. I always walk where I can see them. So at least if I can see them, I can duck, I can dive to the sidewalk. I can dive to avoid them. Because if you're like walking with the flow of traffic, you just don't know what's coming. Like you said, I've had it really close. I've had it really close where people, that vehicles, jeepneys, tricycles, you name it, they'll zoom past you. Motorbikes will do that too. No idea that was even there. Yes, JP, for sure, for sure. 8K this morning. All right, 8K, man. Woo, that's awesome. I had a low walking day yesterday and made up for it today. Awesome, awesome, JP. Said I, Bri, good morning, Sergino. We're now packing up our things. We will heading to Manila, Cavite later, then definitely go back to Boracay. Missing this place already. Oh, the Belmont Hotel, very nice area in Boracay, by New Coast, Boracay, private beach. I'm sure you saw the kite festival yesterday at New Coast. That I saw the postings yesterday from my friend in Boracay. Lots of activity in Boracay, man. Beautiful weather in Boracay the past few days. Dragon boat races. I saw future farmers from Aklan Levi. He was there filming the dragon boat races. Just awesome time to be in Boracay. Me, I try to avoid Boracay when there's too many people. Right now, this week and next week, it's going to be the most people in Boracay Island. Summer, all the activities in Boracay. So I prefer it when it's a little less people in Boracay. Happy Tuesday, Lucita. Happy Tuesday, my good friend in Maine. Yes, we saw. Yeah, I figure you did. I mean, you can't miss it, right? The kite festival. You're right there at the Belmont. That's awesome that you got to see that, man. We did parasailing and I know they have ATV right there by the. I saw it by the private beach at New Coast, but they have a route, right? They have a route in Boracay. Not many. They do not allow a lot of ATV. Before, I would say maybe before the closure, before about 2018, before that, there were ATVs all over Boracay. Now they move most of the ATV in mainland Aklan, but there are ATV rides at New Coast Boracay. Not many. Before, you can ride an ATV on the main road. You can go to Mount Luho on an ATV before. You can pretty much go everywhere in Boracay on ATV before. But now they limited the ATV because ATV, they run on gasoline. So they're trying to make Boracay environmentally friendly. They're trying to use more of that electric vehicles in Boracay. Brian, how many days left? I'm ready for my Iloilo walks and outings. Can't do anything here safely in Washington, D.C. Oh, you're gonna love Iloilo, man. Iloilo City, man. You've seen my walks in Iloilo City. You can walk at nighttime there. You can walk anytime. It's like the Esplanade, walking right there. You're by the river. And many people. There's always many people at the Esplanade. So it definitely, Iloilo is kind of like a walking city, most bicycle friendly city in the Philippines. People just like to exercise in Iloilo is what I noticed. You see me walking in the street, at the walking path there like at 5 in the morning, and people are already jogging, walking, riding their bike. That's why I love that vibe of Iloilo City. Lowell, I fly to Cebu on the 5th and then Iloilo on the 9th. Safe travels, Brian. I'll see you soon. I'll see you soon, brother. Crazy excited. Oh, I'm sure, man. Just safe travels. I'm excited for you. It's going to be a fun time for you for sure. I've noticed the island is packed on Saturday nights, then goes lesser by Sunday and yesterday. There are a few people strolling around the beachfront. Yeah, the weekends, because you get a lot of people actually, Bri, from Iloilo. A lot of people from Iloilo City. It's only a bus ride for them, about four and a half hour bus ride from Iloilo City to Aklan. So a lot of people in the city, they leave like on a Friday afternoon, get to Boracay, spend the weekend, and then pretty common, a lot more, they don't have work, so a lot of people go to Boracay on the weekends. But this time of the year, because of love Boracay, there's just, you got so many activities on White Beach. You got dragon boat races, you got beach volleyball, you got ultimate frisbee. There's just so much stuff going on, and they know like Friday night, Saturday night, you got all those clubs going out at night. Nightlife in Boracay, Friday night, Saturday night is pretty crazy. So, Brian, that is fantastic. I wish I was that close. Gino, yes, so ready. There are shootings here every. Oh man, yeah, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, Brian. Lowell, when you heading there? Lowell is working on it. Lowell is working on it. All right, let me go some of the news. One of the biggest news right now here. This happened in Negros Island. Negros Island is where Dumaguete City, Bacolod, right below us here in Panay Island, Negros. And it's making the news. It's making the news here in the Philippines and even abroad. I even saw because Philippine officials says 2 Americans among suspected communist rebels killed in a clash with troops. Here in the Philippines, I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's been an organization here in the Philippines, even before I was born in the 60s, 60s, 70s, all throughout these years. They're called the National People's Army, NPA. NPA. They're a communist. They're like a communist group here in the Philippines, all over the Philippines, pretty much. It's hard to find an area in the Philippines that doesn't have NPA in it. And a lot of the NPA, they live, up in the mountain, remote areas because, the government is after them. They're considered rebels here. They're considered rebels here in the Philippines. They've always been considered rebels here. And unfortunately, these 2 Americans, there's 2 Americans included. They're Filipino American activists, and I saw a thing even that they're in Washington State that they were saying, they had like a memorial for them. Unfortunately, like the activists, they get mixed in with the NPA. The NPA, they're heavily armed. These are heavily armed people here in the Philippines. They're usually that's why they have military going up in the mountains here trying to look for them because this is not America. The Philippines is not you do not have the right to bear arms here in the Philippines. If I wanted, even if I was a Filipino citizen, I would need to get a license in order for me to own a firearm. I would have to pass a test. They would have to certify me that I can have a weapon. And for sure, I can't carry it with me. I might be able to keep it in my car, maybe, or even in the house here to protect my property. But you can't be trudging into the jungles of the Philippines armed. You got like M16, you got like AK-47 carrying through the jungle. You just cannot do that because the military here will hunt you down. It's like there have been clashes between the National People's Army and and the Philippine military here in the Philippines for many years. It's kind of like an ongoing process. More in like in the Mindanao area, but even Luzon and Visayas, it happens here in the Philippines. Um, and for in my experience, what I've seen, it's not even where when the military when they have clashes with the NPA, they're there. They're not there to like take hostages or neutralize the NPA. They're there to like remove. Pretty much kill everyone. That's what That's why now they're calling it a massacre. They're calling it a these people activists linked to the Anakbayan USA. So there's activists in the U.S., part of the activists here in the Philippines. So I don't know how they get roped in it. Fortune, there's even one, a UP, a UP Diliman, somebody that's smart involved in this. So two activists and one Filipina in it from Manila. That's a UP Diliman student. This person's like attending the Harvard of the Philippines, but they're getting roped into these groups, this National People's Army up in the jungles and all that. So to me, it's just unfortunate that that happens. But one thing here, man, the military here don't play with the National People's Army. They're here to like eliminate them. So any clashes with like the NPA and the Philippine military not gonna go well for the NPA, unfortunately. And then same. I'm sure there's been incidents here where soldiers get injured because they're armed. Basically, they're like an armed militia. They're like trudging, living in the mountains area, remote areas in the Philippines, and they're carrying heavy automatic weapons. So that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So that's making the rounds here, the news here in the Philippines. Again, because you got two American citizens involved there, and also, but 19 total got killed by the Filipino soldiers, members of the National People's Army. Ooh, man. I'm getting the comments. I'm getting behind here. I gotta. Yes, so ready. So ready. Lowell, Gino, I sent a couple of videos to you of fisherman rod and reel fishing thank you, JP. I'll check that out after. Lowell, I need to finish a few things. I'm working on transitioning off the oxycodone to alternatives, then two more things. All right. Good luck, Lowell. I'm happy that you're getting off that oxycodone, man. Find like a better alternative to it for sure. Good morning, everyone. The Colonel, hey Colonel. Thank you for joining the live this morning. I'm already half dose on my oxy. Oh, great to hear that. Great to hear that, Lowell. What is needed soon as you can join the PH Fund. The PH Fund. Morning, Colonel. God bless. God bless. Colonel, good morning, brother. Brian, I wish you safe travels. God bless. I read there are on 20 NPA left on Panay Island. I know, like I said, I know they put people, I've heard it. I don't know the data on in Panay Island as far as like the NPA here, but I do know they put like military units up in the mountains here. I know they have one in Libacao, in the Libacao area, because suspected NPA activity. Like I said, most of the time the NPA, they're not in like, they won't go to Calibo, because they're gonna get arrested. If they do, they can't be carrying their weapons. So a lot of them deep jungle, a lot of them up in the mountains is where they're living. Howdy and good morning to my Panay Posse brothers. Hey Daniel, good morning, Daniel. I messaged you yesterday, Daniel. You must not be catching up on your message. I messaged you on your WhatsApp. I was just checking in on you, Daniel, because I hadn't heard from you in a little bit. But I'm glad you're on the live stream. Thank you, Daniel. Brian. Daniel, good morning, brother. Hello, Daniel. Lowell, morning. God bless. The Panay posse is usually chilled out. They chilled out, yeah. It's like, hello, Go TV, Go TV, the Colonel, the Go TV. The history of the NPA. Good AM, Colonel Fortune. They started as Hook Balahap, People's Army against Japan. They were peasant guerrillas. After World War II, the peasants were really ignored by the government in terms of rehabilitation post-war. They felt about it because they also fought in the war. Yeah, in the war. Good AM, Daniel. Yeah, like I said, I remember the National People's Army. The first memory I could, being born here in the Philippines, even the early 70s, I kept hearing NPA, and how during that time they even declared martial law here in the Philippines, to try to eliminate the NPA. But they've always been around. They've always been around. They grew in strength during martial law of Marcos Sr. because of much disparity in rich and poor. Hey, James and Karen. All right, good morning, James. All right, let me, um, of course it made, like I said, it's a bigger news. I mean, clashes between the NPA and the military here, Philippine military, happens all the time. It just made national news because two American activists, Filipino American activists, were included in the casualties because I'm sure there's going to be investigations and all that, but the activists, and I'm sure the student from University of the Philippines, the three of them, uh, I, I would even say they probably weren't armed, because they're there to like, you know, uh, their activism as far as like whatever communists or whatever, but they're not armed, but they were with the armed group. So it's unfortunate that that would happen when you put yourself in that kind of situation. Few UP students become NPAs, I admit. That because in UP, you are encouraged free ideas, and some of them get, yes, correct. Because sometimes you get the smartest people in the world, right? You get the smartest people in the world, and ideas get put in their mind, and then they're like, yeah, I'm fighting with the people. I'm fighting with the people, National People's Army. I'm going to join the National People's Army. But unfortunately, they don't know or understand the danger they put themselves, especially a college student. What is a college student going up in the mountains with like basically guerrillas, basically a militia in the and a female at that, man. I feel sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad for her family for sure. Prayers definitely go out to her family, because man, it's fortune can tell you this: if your kid gets accepted in the University of the Philippines Diliman, that is like your kid going to Harvard in the United States. It's a big deal here in the Philippines. And then to find out your kid joins a rebel group up in the mountains and gets shot, man, that's just horrible. That's just horrible. How definitely prayers go out to her family for sure, and prayers go out to the families of the Philippine Americans that flew all the way from Washington State to here to the Philippines to join those rebels, and now they're gone. It's like sometimes ideas get put on people's head. They don't understand the danger that they put themselves in. Fortune, good AM, James and Karen. James and Mama Put, no more Nene Put, no more Nene Put. Are those tomato seeds I brought to you sprouting? In the last encounter, there's a UP lady student that was killed. Alisa, like I said, that's so unfortunate, right, Fortune? I mean, imagine your kid getting accepted to the Harvard of the Philippines, a student, getting roped into this like communist group or something, man. That's just horrible. She was a university student council counselor and whew, man, she's yeah, because there's nobody that goes to university in the Philippines that's not smart. You have to be a genius to be attending that school. So man, she was gonna be doing great things, man. Had she graduated college, concentrated on on her life, but instead she got roped in that. I'm sure she didn't know the danger. She didn't know the danger that she puts herself in. Good morning, James and Karen, and congratulations. God bless. Last February, there was an ACLE project, alternative classroom learning experience. Hello, Daniel, Fort JP, Colonel Brian J&K, Joe. Many was head of ACLE for her and UP Consulting Group. They make lectures and student themselves lecture to fellow student. UPCG lectured business. Yeah, even like when I see, when I watch the news here, Fortune, and I see those students, it's usually the college students, maybe they have too much time on their hands or something, but I even see them like protesting over at in front of the U.S. Embassy. These college students in Manila, they're protesting in front of the U.S. Embassy. But when a reporter asked them, "What are you protesting about America here?" They got no word to say. They're like they don't can even like voice out what they're. A lot of times they get roped in by other people. Join us, and is we're gonna rally. We're gonna rally in Manila, man. That's not even safe. I would not be rallying in Manila because over here, things can go sideways here pretty quick. They have like people like that will protect the U.S. Embassy, protect facilities. The rally police, you don't want to mess with the rally police with the helmet, the gear, with the stick. Man, next thing you know, you're gonna get a smackdown. I know about freedom of speech and all that, but you got to be careful with that. Parents of young college kids here in the Philippines, talk to your kids, man. Talk to your kids. Michael Manalastas, good morning, Master Sergeant, everyone. Thank you, Michael, from Northern California. Aloha, Derek. Aloha, Derek, from Southern Leyte. Southern Leyte. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you, Derek. So that was the news regarding the NPA, the National People's Army. And like I said, the only reason you're hearing about more of it, stuff happens all the time here in the Philippines regarding the National People's Army. The only reason you're hearing about it is two Filipino Americans were part of the 19 that got killed. My Filipina GF is UP graduate. All right, man. Your Filipina is very smart. Nobody gets into UP in Diliman if they're not smart. Everybody's like a freaking genius to get in there, man. Alyssa was convenor of all heads of orgs, so Maggie was able to know her. Oh, wow, Maggie got to know her. Wow. When she attended a meeting, but not personally knew her. It was a meeting in a large room. Wow. Yes, sometimes, it's like, they get involved in this organization. Definitely not a good organization in the Philippines to get involved. It's like the National People's Army, because the National People's Army here in the Philippines, the military here hunts them down. Because these guys, even though they're in the jungles, they're in the mountains, they're carrying automatic weapons, walking around with automatic weapons. And, like I said, this is not America where, you have you have the right to bear arms. You got to get permission. You got to get permission here to carry weapons here. Keep your kids, man, if I was sending, like when I send her to nursing school here, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on her. I'll be asking her, okay, don't be, what kind of organizations are you joining? What kind of meeting? Get involved with your kids. Don't just trust. Don't just trust the schools here. Even like from elementary to high school to college, just don't trust your kids. Not just because you're paying private school or whatever. You trust that school already. It doesn't work like that. You got to be involved with your kids. You got to be finding out what activities they're doing in school. It's like Ronnie, hello everyone. James, although they knew God, they did not honor him as God and give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened, claiming to be wise. They become fools. Amen. Amen, James. Amen, my brother. JP, are the Filipinas still giving you looks? What's your secret, Captain Ron? What's your secret, JP? Alyssa was a graduate. Oh, wow. Graduating too, man. Man, that's like a political science student whose path will be UP lawyer. Yeah, right? She would have been a lawyer, man. UP lawyer, man. That's like big time here. You graduate law at University of Philippines. You're looking at like a high paying corporate job as a lawyer or politics, big time politics here in the Philippines. And she was doing her thesis there, but likely a sympathizer. Yeah, yeah. See, that wrong place at the wrong time. She put herself in a bad situation. It's like I have had some affiliation with UP Los Baños. Beautiful. Yeah, I've been there. I've actually been to UP Los Baños. I remember it because one of my field trips in elementary school, when I was fifth or sixth grade in Letron College in Manila, we went to Los Baños, and UP Los Baños was part of our field trip. Correct, James, the Colonel. The Dodgers have, yeah, we do, man. The Dodgers, man, they're just so deep with young talent, and we're missing Mookie Betts, Hall of Famer. He's injured. Tommy Edman, MVP of the National League playoffs a couple of years ago. We're missing some of our good players, some of our stars, and we just got so much young talent. We're just so deep. It's like. And exchange the glory of immortal God for images resembling mortal man, and birds and animals and creeping things. Fortune. Good AM, good AM, good AM, Derek, good AM, good AM, Captain Ron. Romans 1:23 spells it all out. They need to repent and follow the gospel, not man. For sure, brother. Unfortunately, James, the job market here requires the college degree to get the most good employment. And that's the thing, it's like the colleges here, really, if you don't graduate college here in the Philippines, it is unfortunate. If you don't graduate college here, basically, unless you come from a rich family or you got some skills with your hands, not you're gonna there's not a lot of path to make good money here if you don't graduate college. That's why everybody tries to send everybody here to college. That's poignant. James and Karen's adventures. HD James, I would partly disagree unless you're going for STEM field or professionals like medicine. You should stay put. Should stay out. Universities have this underwater basket weaving degrees. Just yeah, it's the same thing here. Even in Calibo, HD, when I attended college in Calibo, there's only really certain degrees that I feel like there's weight to it when you graduate. There's so many, and then the college here, I attended it for 4 years, so I experienced it. I experienced college here in the Philippines, man. There's so many classes that you go to, like you're going like what am I getting out of it? For one, physical education. All right, I get it. You're trying to get people going, but I had dance one year for I had like to dance like cultural dancing one semester. You got classes like that here. One time it was table tennis. I had a class in table tennis for a whole semester. So what does that gonna help me as far as like when I graduate? I had with an IT with the information technology degree. There was just a lot of subject that to me that they really need to like fix the curriculum. So instead of like all these English classes, Filipino classes, the requirement for you to graduate, focus more on what people are trying to learn. If they're trying to go for an IT degree, they want to be programmers. So focus like 90% of the classes in like computer programming. That way, when they graduate, they're ready to go. But you spend like half the school year taking these courses that don't make any sense, unfortunately. But the parents here understand don't have a choice. They want their kids to go to college here because if they don't get a degree here in the Philippines, forget it. You're going to be like a laborer. You're going to be a day laborer. You're going to be unemployed basically if you don't get a college degree here. You're going to be like delivering for Lazada. You're going to be a ninja van person. You're going to be, there's even McDonald's, even Jollibee here requires you to have like some college. They want you to be able to like know how to work the cash registry, know good math skills. I remember our friend Mai, when she was staying here, she now works in Boracay at Mang Inasal. She was looking for a job in Calibo. And Mai, she never graduated high school. So, now she works at Mang Inasal in Boracay. But when she was looking for a job in Calibo, they're making her like math questions on the test, things. So that's why you have to send your kids to college, because even on the job application, in the US, I know they do a lot of online tests, right? To get a job. Here in the Philippines, they actually have like a piece of paper, and they want you to know how to compute how to operate a cash register. So if you don't have any college or any education, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to, even at McDonald's or even at Jollibee here. Just here watching, waiting for my simmering manok adobo. Ooh, wow. Ronnie, I'm jealous, man. I'm gonna have to tell Dazzle to cook some chicken adobo. Better to be a humble farmer than a revolution. Yeah, so true. At least if you're a humble farmer, you can raise your crops. You can feed yourself, feed your family, for sure. I mean, what is the goal in revolutionary? You're asking to bad things to happen to you if you're a revolution, especially here in the Philippines. It's not like the minute you speak up here, they're gonna hear your voice. They're not gonna hear your voice here. They're gonna eliminate your voice here. Correct, HD James. Yes, HD, STEM is important. The trouble makers are usually not STEM, not STEM. Hey, there you go, Belus, my brother in Leyte. Good morning, troops. Good morning, troops. JP, Captain Ron. I still get looks, but it's settled down. I want to start going on short motorcycle rides and do some scouting. All right, JP. Mabuhay ka, Kuya Gino. Good morning to all of you. Please share this live. Is it that there are NPA students studying in UP? I don't think there's NPA students because it's smart, smart people attending UP. Just my opinion now. Smart individuals, and they see the hardships. They see that Anak Bayan, Anak Bayan here is an organization here. They're fighting for their poverty, all that in the Philippines. Farmers, there's lands getting taken from them, things like that. I mean, they're the ideology is good that they're fighting for the people, but unfortunately the way they're fighting, it's like, it's an arm, they're armed people, and the minute you arm yourself with weapon, you become a revolutionary. You're against the government. Basically, you're against the government of the Philippines, and nothing good can come out of that. Unfortunately, it's like the Philippine government, the Filipino soldiers here, they don't have the same restrictions like me. I was a soldier in the United States. We have the Geneva Convention that we have to abide by. There's certain rules we have to abide by. The Philippine military here in the Philippines, you're the enemy. You're against the Philippine government. They have orders to eliminate you. Unfortunately, that's why they have clashes here with the NPA. The NPA here in the Philippines, they're considered a communist group. So if you're a student and you want to be an activist and get involved with them, it becomes a dangerous place for you. NPA in Antique, not Aklan, not Aklan. One, as a soldier, I am honored because of my sacrifice and ultimate struggle in my life. Please, please do not honor a military man because they kill non-combatants just cause they got in the way. Colonel, good morning, good morning. Flyboy, exchange rate, I already mentioned the exchange rate earlier, Flyboy. It was 60.65, 60.65. If one is willing to kill, one must also be willing to die. It's the mantra I live by that helped me survive Iraq 3 times. All right, one. Hi, Colonel. How's the world treating you? How's the world treat HD? No, the results are not replicated in social sciences. Doing well, Tom. The Colonel. Fortune. Nice, Brian. UP Los Baños is the biggest UP campus. Second, founded after UP Manila, the original. UP made the Center for Agriculture and the like. No need in basket weaving. No need for a degree in basket weaving. Brian, Fortune, I am able to stay on the campus a few days and it was very nice. Yeah, very, very nice. I remember it. I remember everything there was so green. It's agriculture. So fresh air. Gino, that table tennis class was to prepare you for pickleball. It did, man. Man, a whole semester, Colonel, we were studying table tennis. I was like, table tennis, life changing. It changed. Maybe it did change a little bit of my life, man. But I did play tennis. I played tennis in the U.S., so I didn't mind the ping pong. I didn't mind table tennis, and then now pickleball. I love any sport with a racket. College should be required to honestly report placement rates and salaries of graduating students at least annually, so students can make informed choices about the courses they pursue. LOL, Colonel. One, you got days left, Brian? Okay. Yes, to PH on the 5th. On the 5th. He's landing in Cebu. For a fresh college graduate in the Philippines in 2026, the standard entry-level salary is about 20,000 a month. That sounds about right. Here in the province, man, they'll be happy. if you graduate in Calibo and you can get 20,000 pesos or $350 a month here in the province, they're going to be ecstatic with that salary. I know people here that make a lot less than that after graduate. Same batchmates that I went to school, my classmates that didn't make that money when they graduated. Sir, good morning, Gino. Lay down, Colonel from Captain Ron. Good morning, John. Fortune, Merle. they don't enter UPS NPA. I didn't think they. I mean, you can't get into UP, man. Yeah, Merle. It's so hard to get into UP. There's a UPCAT. It's called UPCAT, UPC. It's kind of like college entry exam. And even to make it to UP Diliman, you gotta be a, like I said, you gotta be a freak. That is the Harvard. Just imagine you're in the United States to get into Harvard. That's basically what UP Diliman is. So you don't go in there if you're at NPA. If you grew up in the mountains or you grew up in the jungle, you're not going to be entering. It's the I think people get that so smart, and they want to understand, they want to fight for the people, they want to fight for the people. Their intentions are really well, but unfortunately, they do not understand the way things are here in the Philippines. Like Vaughn was mentioning earlier, he fought wars in the U.S. He's some U.S. military man. It works differently here, Vaughn. The Philippines, you got to understand, you are not in America anymore. Soldiers here in the Philippines, they do not, they follow orders here basically, and their order is to eliminate the NPA here. That's if you see rebels, you're there to eliminate there. If there's like collateral damage, it is what it is. It is what it is here in the Philippines. Nobody is gonna like make a big thing here in the Philippines. The minute most Filipinos here in the Philippines, they hear an encounter between Philippine soldiers and the National People's Army, they're gonna side with the They're gonna side with the Philippine military. They're not gonna side with the NPA because the NPA they look at them as rebels. They look at them as against the government of the Philippines. Unfortunately, some of them get converted and they leave the university, but press always identify them as UP student. And this is not usually even other schools. Yes. Sir Fortune, Colonel, good morning, Fortune. This girl, Alyssa, was non-combatant, but they dressed her up to appear. Oh, man. So she was wearing, yeah, that's the thing, right, Fortune? I do notice that even the activists, even that's the student activists in Manila, when they rally with the student activists, I see them. They're wearing camouflage pants. They're wearing camouflage hats. They're making themselves look like military. So not a good thing, man. You don't know if they're taking pictures of you. If the government here in the Philippines, I'm pretty sure, man. You don't want to be listed as a NPA sympathizer here, and that's been happening here. Like I said, since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, the rebels here. They've been an enemy of the state here for my 60 years of life. The National People's Army, they're enemy of the state, basically. So why would you affiliate yourself with like the enemy of the state? That would be same thing if in the U.S. If you like join a group that's like the enemy of the United States, that's not going to turn out well for you. Good AM, John B. Ask Gino for your contact information and I'll reach out. Sounds good, Vaughn. JP, hello. Fortune. In the course of doing their thesis, they immerse themselves to understand the problem in way of living. So they become a collateral damage when there's an encounter. The bad thing there is, yeah. I think I mentioned that. Unfortunately, if you're a student and you decide to leave college and you decide to learn more about the NPA, you're up in the jungles, you're up in the mountains, living with the rebels. Then, of course, when the Philippine military goes in there and attacks the rebels, you're gonna be one of them. Even if you're not carrying a weapon, they're gonna assume you're dressed like them. You're dressed with camouflage, so you're gonna be you're gonna be collateral damage, unfortunately. And unfortunately, a lot of them are young, right? A lot of them our college age students, early 20s, the young minds sometimes, easily influenced, unfortunately. Sir JP Calibo, good morning. College entry exam? In the US, there is SAT Act to get to beyond bachelor's, med school, law. Yeah, UPCAT, man, HD, if you Google it, UPCAT is one of the hardest tests that you'll take here to the Philippines just to get into the University of the Philippines. Not easy. UP, University of Philippines in Diliman, not easy to get in. You gotta have like, you gotta have your, in high school, you gotta be like top of your class. You gotta like have, and then when you actually take the exam, you gotta score high on that exam or you're not gonna get in. Alyssa was a frail girl. How can she even carry a gun? Oh, that's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, man. That's like so, the more I hear the story now, that's like, I feel sorry for her family. I really feel, definitely prayers go out to her family. That's just heartbreaking to have such a young girl that's so smart, graduating political science in the University of the Philippines, to get involved in like an organization like the National People's Army. Man, that's like horrible. You'd be surprised, Fortune, what a frail can do. Yeah, with a weapon, with a weapon, the Colonel. Many a life was ended in Vietnam by frail-looking women. YouTube won't even let me comment anything related with F. All right, deleted my comments. Sad situations either way. Just such as, yeah, it is. It's such a young individual, a smart mind. It's like not many of those. Not many of those as it is. Intelligent, smart minds. To be wasted like that. I think them in Vietnam were really trained because they are fighting a war. All right, all right. Let me press on with more news. I got more news, man. I got more news. Let's move to better news, like good news. Good news. Let's move to better. The news can be overwhelming sometimes. The Ayala malls. There's like SM malls here. There's like Robinson Mall here, and now the Ayala Mall. Big malls that they build here. They're gonna build one in Iloilo City, or Colonel, right in your neck of the woods. It's gonna be right across where the shops at Atria, and also there's a hotel there. What's that hotel? Seda, I think Seda, and the right across from that near Avida Towers, near SNR. They're gonna build an Ayala Mall there. A lot. So another gigantic mall that they're gonna build in Iloilo City. I'm looking forward to that. I know Dazzle is. I know Dazzle's gonna love that. More shopping for Dazzle in Iloilo City. So that whole area by the Atria, by SNR, a Hop In Hotel. Now they're gonna build like a giant Ayala Mall there. That's gonna be awesome. Added to places to visit in Iloilo City. And speaking of more construction, more infrastructure, Cavite. This is Fortune's neck of the woods here. The rising global logistics and investment frontier, Cavite, Philippines. The recent opening of Uniqlo. Uniqlo, big company, sponsor of the Dodgers, man. Uniqlo. I think Dodger Stadium now is called Uniqlo Field or something. Big company, Uniqlo. They moved April 17, 2026. They recently opened the Uniqlo Logistics Facility, and they picked Cavite. They picked the Philippines. Another infrastructure milestone, serving as the brand's main hub, in Southeast Asia. So anything Uniqlo in Cavite a massive factory they built in Cavite for Uniqlo, the company Uniqlo. And that's big because that's a nice, good sign, you know. I mean, we're not in the level like Vietnam or Thailand as far as like, you know, or Indonesia as far as like these mega factories. It's a start though. It's a start. Good start for the Philippines to secure like a company like Uniqlo, sponsor of the Dodgers, sponsor of the Dodgers. So hopefully it would trigger more companies to invest in the Philippines. You know, the thing that always limits, you know, always scares investors, foreign investors here in the Philippines. I think that the two culprit, number one, the corruption. The corruption here in the Philippines is just on another level. Scare many foreign investors as far as the Philippines. The second is the electric power. You know, it's hard to build like a mega factory in the Philippines, and you're worried about electricity. You do these mega factories. They gotta run efficient. They gotta run efficient. You cannot have like the line shut down because no electricity. So that's always a problem with the Philippines competing with places like Indonesia and Vietnam because they have better infrastructure when it comes to those things. But it's a good sign. At least now, you know, big companies like Uniqlo is moving to the Philippines, making the Philippines the hub here in Southeast Asia. Let me see here. Okay, right there, Philippines. Okay, I don't want to miss anybody's comment here. All right, here, Philippine military from Merle, military state that UP is among the most affected universities in terms of student recruitment in the armed movement. That I wouldn't know. I would, it's like, you know, you got to be careful, like you got to be careful on things you read sometimes. Because for me, I'm careful on the things I read because sometimes, you don't know the source, you don't know, especially if they can't produce data. It's like, I think that would be hard data to prove that, they're coming out of UP, more coming out of UP. Did you have to wear a uniform? Yes, 4 years I wore a uniform. It was like dark blue pants, polo shirt color with a pocket. It's like even a tie. You can, they even came with a tie, but I don't wear the tie all the time. But you have to wear a uniform when you attend college here. I'm just waiting for Calibo Wet Market. Yeah, me too, me too. I can't wait. I can't wait for Calibo Wet Market to open. It's gonna be amazing, I think, when it opens. Woohoo! Yeah, for me and the Colonel, Brian. Wow, really? 5 minutes? I know, right, Colonel, man? Ayala Mall. They're gonna open the Ayala Mall in Iloilo City. They're gonna start building it. That's gonna be awesome, man. But yeah, Brian and the Colonel. A lot, so much more traffic. Yeah, unfortunately, a big mall like that's gonna add traffic. Uniqlo is a Japanese brand brought here by SM. They are doing good business here. My walking shorts, the chinos, are by Uniqlo. All right. Dazzle knows more about that stuff. It's like I don't name brands, fortune, I don't know nothing about. But Dazzle's the one that told me, "Oh, Uniqlo, I know that." She goes, "Huh? You know that?" I had no clue what you knew. The first time I saw it was like a Dodger Stadium. There's a big sign now there out in the outfield. It's like Uniqlo Field. I'm like Uniqlo Field, But they're the sponsor of the Dodgers now. Seda is the hotel brand. Yeah. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, Seda is the hotel. Maybe that's why they put Ayala Mall right by the Seda, to increase, to increase people staying at the Seda Hotel. Go TV. When are we getting to see the multicab driving videos? Unique clothing, unique clothing. The Colonel, it will be interesting how they handle the traffic flow in the area That is a main thoroughfare. Yeah, right. It's a main thoroughfare for sure. Right there by the rotunda, that big circle with that monument. Be interesting. Still waiting on the LTO GP. I was able to get a license plate made that says Region 6 for registration. You are living the life, JP. I drove with that for a month. Colonel, something fishy with your LTO paper work as we had our LTO registered in 6 days after purchase. Thanks for the response about the uniform. All right, no worries, my friend. Derek, so Dazzle doing more morning walks to get her steps in. No, she sticks with her sunset walk, and today since I didn't get to walk, I'll walk with her this evening. She prefers Dazzle's like a not a morning. I'm the morning person. Dazzle's more like a late evening to like midnight kind of person. She likes to stay up. So she prefers walking at sunset. Beautiful sunset here too in our neighborhood. So I can't blame her. I've joined her on her sunset walks. Sometimes I'll walk in the morning, then I still walk in the afternoon, you know. Don't worry about the traffic. The Philippines will handle it. The Philippines will handle it for sure, right? Starting to warm. Get warm here. I got a fan blowing, but it's starting to warm up here. You're not allowed to drive anywhere until you have a copy of the OCR. Fortune. Yes, JP, Region 6 for Western Visayas. I would trade info with Dazzle for the Apple Watch daily walking competition. However, I stopped wearing it regularly because it attracts local eyes. It attracts local eyes. The Tom, different Leos move at different speeds and depending LTOs, different LTOs for sure. I have to agree with you, Colonel. It's like the Land Transportation Office depends where you live in the Philippines. They do not function the same everywhere you go in the Philippines. The cities I've found, in my experience, the cities I've found to be more stricter. The LTOs in the provinces, they're more lenient. They're more lenient. Easier to get things done in the province. The cities, the cities in the Philippines, they got more cops, more LTO people, more. They're just stricter, and it makes sense because in the city you actually have a traffic. You actually have a lot of vehicles on the road. Here in the province, when I drive here on our tricycle, there's days when I don't see many other tricycles or motorbikes. We just don't have the volume. We don't have traffic in Numancia. Maybe a little congestion at the plaza area. You have to slow down at the four-way intersection. We don't even have a stoplight. Our whole town of Numancia, not a single stoplight, not a single stop sign. I have never seen. Imagine a town of over 25,000 people. We do not have a single stop sign or a stoplight. That's how rural we are here in Numancia, Aklan. That's why things like LTO, things like that, a lot easier to get done here in the province. You just have to know people. You just have to know people. My neighbors bought a multi-cab the same day I did, and they are still waiting also. Yeah, maybe the LTO in Iloilo City, just because it's a big city, they're not processing it as fast. Like I'm sure they have more vehicles for sure. Like if I'm comparing Calibo LTO to like Iloilo City LTO, there's like over a million people in Iloilo City. Calibo's got 100,000. So the volume of work that's why it might be taking longer in Iloilo City. Same thing with like processing. If you're processing your tourist visa, a lot of people come here to Calibo and process their tourist visa in Calibo because you're in and out of there in 10 minutes. You go to the Bureau of Immigration in Iloilo City, you're gonna wait. You're gonna wait in line there for your tourist visa. Good AM HD from Fortune. I use step counter app on my phone, so I do not have to wear a watch. All right, all right. Howdy Fortune. LTO. Dang, autocorrect. I figure it was LTO. I figure it was LTO, Colonel. Pinar Hard. Hey, Pinar Hard from Oceanside, California. Hi, Brother Gino. Hi, everyone. Tom. Well, that was Iloilo LTO office that did the registration. So must be same as your area. Maybe your dealer is the problem. Who knows, man? Around here in the Philippines, those kind of things, you just gotta patiently wait here. You know, a lot of things with the LTO, a lot of things with the government agencies, you just have to patiently wait. Or, there are some, they do say there's no more fixers in the Philippines, but there's always a fixer. There's always guys that can help you here in the Philippines if you're willing to pay the money. Hello, Pinay Heart. God bless. God bless there. Lowell, Pinay Heart. Brian. JP, I don't like to wear a watch either, but I was given an Apple Watch. I have someone I am giving my Apple Watch to. Yes, yes, Brian. Me, Dazzle bought me a watch. I do wear it. She bought me one of those Iron Man watch. And I like it because when I wear it, when I walk, it gives my heart rate. So I can just look at my watch and I got my heart rate. So I do like it. I do like the heart rate thing on it. Mine's count my heart rate. Yeah, same thing. Heart rate. I like the heart rate on the Iron Man watch that Dazzle got me. It is too shiny to be wearing in the province, so I only wear. Oh, okay. Dazzle, her Apple Watch. She got the midnight color right here. Right here is the Dazzle's watch. Usually she wears it when she sleeps, because it tracks your sleep too or something. But you do have to charge it. It has like a she has, but hers is like a midnight black, so she doesn't have. It's not shiny. It's like it looks like an ordinary watch. If I was wearing it, it's like just plain midnight black. Midnight black. Hello, Miss Jackie. Great evening to you and the family. Dodgers play at 10. Yes, yes. They play the Marlins, right? They play the Marlins. Yep. Miami. My BRB, I got my license in less than 3 weeks. Nice, nice Fortune. Captain Ron, hey Pinahart, what good news do you have for us today? License plate, I was carrying the sales voucher in case flag down. Flag down. Yeah, and for the colonel, he's got to worry more about getting flagged down in Iloilo because they have more cops there. There's a corner there, Colonel, right near the Burger King, that light. There's always like LTO people there standing, just waiting to catch people. We do have checkpoints here in Aklan province, but you can usually spot them and just avoid them. It's like when you're driving and you don't have all your documents here in Aklan. Many people here, unfortunately, they don't have their motorbikes registered, no insurance. Some of them don't have licenses. So when you see like an LTO, land transportation checkpoint, everybody stops like 50 yards away and they just sit there. They sit there until the LTO leaves because the LTO can't come get you. You have to cross their checkpoint. So it creates like sometimes a mile long of line of people just waiting there. They do not want to cross the checkpoint. Good AM, Pinahart. My app has a way to check your heart rate by putting your finger over the flashlight. Ooh, wow, wow. Morning Fortune. Do you know they named a car? Yeah, Fortune used to have a car. He used to own a Fortuner. One of the vehicles that Fortune owned was a Fortuner. Very nice from Bonds. Fortuner, Captain Ron. Yeah. LTO can be slower, but sometimes it is the dealership that is slow to submit their paperwork, waiting to take in multiple sets of in time. I have heard from other expats. Hi, Captain Ron. Just helping my husband. Almost cut. Ooh, wow. Almost. Wow. Yeah. Wow, man. Shoot, you gotta be careful, man, with that. By Toyota. He is fine now. I'm glad to hear, Pinay Heart. I'm glad that he didn't get seriously injured. I'm always careful when I'm cooking, when I'm slicing with knives. I'm super careful, man. You know, it's like anything sharp, anything, then I'm super careful when I handle things like that. Almost is a great thing. Cubs play Padres. All right, go beat the Madres, man. Go beat the Madres. Joe Cano. Hello, everyone. Been lurking since I had 3 deadlines to get out today and worked a couple of extra. Oh, nice, nice. Colonel, the LTO checkpoint is right around the corner from me. And then the checkpoint. That's funny, man. Heart. Hi, Kuya Fortune. I was listening to Kuya Gino, then heard my husband needs first aid, but everything is under control now. Woodworking is risky. Man, woodworking is risky. Gino, shiny, expensive. It's the Apple Watch Ultra Cellular, which is 2 times the cost. Oh, okay, man. Yeah. I've never had any expensive watch. Even the Iron Man watch that Dazzle bought me, she bought it from Lazada. I know she didn't pay a lot of money for it. Yes, take care. Merle, I have a watch from Timu. It tracks when I'm snoring. I think that's the same thing with this watch. It tracks that Dazzle sleeping. But she didn't wear it. Maybe it was low bat after she walked yesterday. Probably she didn't have. She had to recharge it. Snore louder. Electric hits me. Laughter is the best medicine. I have still a 2014. So yeah, see, Fortune's got a 2014 Fortuner. One of the Fortune's vehicles of Fortuner. Pinahar, hi Kuya Von. He just got home. He was trying to finish his project. One of those days will test our marriage. We almost called 911. Hey, at least you got 911 there, man. Here in the Philippines, we don't have 911 here in the province. You got to flag people down or take yourself to the hospital here, man. I went to my Navy school in San Diego, NTC San Diego. All right. You are where you need to be, Pinay. You guys are meant to be. Pinar, is the posting is woodworking projects, making things out of wood is a passion. It's a passion. I'm glad Kal-El's been sleeping the whole time, man. He's a good doggy, man. Very good car. No major problems, but seldom use it now because of fuel costs. It only comes out Wednesday by my driver to drive Luna to the therapy because it's the only free car due to color coding. Yeah, I had a friend of mine here. He had a Fortuner too, and he got rid of it because of the gas. That he said it cost too much. Now he drives a Vios, Toyota Vios 4-door sedan. It tests my patience too. LOL. Joke note, that is correct. The dealerships are sometimes to be blamed. Pinay Heart. Hi, Captain Ron. He just finished a beautiful project from school. I will be posting it later. All right. Vaughn, very nice. Captain Ron, Pinay Heart to the rescue. I think that he broke her something worth 200, but it saves his finger. Once the reason he had the machine. Better lost the finger for sure. Fortune, have you thought about removing the R? Under under your car name. Good AM. Merle, Toyota is the best car. It lasts longer and parts are inexpensive. Haha, HD. The Colonel's Chronicles. Pinay Heart, it sounds like the table saw the stops automatically. Good to have. He can't just play guitar. Hey, hey, hey. For fortune, thank you for your great help. I mean, we have to think positive. We didn't have to go through the hardest part. But, I thought of there is 119 there. Not here in our area, not in Numancia. It's like here we have like a MDRRMO. It's like we have basically one multi-cab that they name like emergency, like medics. There are like medics. There's no defibrillator there. It's not an ambulance. It's basically for them to transport you to Calibo. We're only 15 minutes away to Calibo, but it's a first come first serve basis. If that vehicle is responding to an emergency here in Numancia, you're out of luck. They're gonna go, oh, we're responding to something. You need to find something. Most people here just take a tricycle, or us, we have a car to like take yourself to Calibo. There is not like a 911. I've never heard of a 911 here in the Philippines where it's the same 911. There might be a number that says 119 and there's a person, but it's not the same thing in the US where you're thinking somebody's in a headset looking at the computer, like I got a unit responding to you. It ain't like that here. It's low budget here in the Philippines, Binayard. You better come up with your own plan here in the Philippines for an emergency. It's like that's why Dazzle has a driver's license. If something happens to me, she can drive our car. She can take me to the hospital 15 minutes away because you have to make your own. You have to make your own arrangements to get to the hospital here. If you're gonna wait on an ambulance here in the province, or good luck, good luck with them rushing to get you. Welcome, Vaughn. Just PM me. Made a quilt rack stand out of cherry wood. Took a week, but was beautiful when completed. Oh, that's awesome, man. Did you do that, Captain Ron? Toyota can probably have a good advert to show how durable their trucks are. That is used in a lot of wars. The ones where they mount armament in the back, especially civil wars. Oh, wow. Kind of like those, what was that? Back in the 70s, they had that show, The Rat Patrol. Man, that was like that was a cool show back in the 70s, The Rat Patrol. It was in a Jeep. They had that gun on top of the Jeep in the back, man. I used to watch that when I was a kid, man. Pinay Heart. Wow, we better be in good health all the time over there. Wishing our neighbors work in medical. You just have to have a plan, Pinay Heart. That's one thing you have to consider when you're moving to the Philippines. How close are you to a hospital? And you got to make sure it's a good hospital because it will surprise you sometimes, especially like here in Aklan province. I'll give you an example. There's places here, there's towns here in Aklan. There's 17 municipalities here, right? If you go to places like the remote area, like Libacao, or even parts of even Buruanga in Aklan, they might say hospital on the outside, but when you go in there, there's barely any equipment in there. There's not even an emergency room. You'll be lucky if there's a doctor assigned there. So you got to consider that when you're moving here in the Philippines. That's why I tell people, live in Calibo, man. Live in Calibo because Calibo's got Asia Pacific Medical Center. You're like where JP lives, he can walk to Asia Pacific Medical Center. It's about a 5-minute tricycle ride to Asia Pacific. They got a full-on emergency room there. They got ambulances there at Asia Pacific. That's important when you're considering the area where to move to in the Philippines. Don't just be thinking, man, I'm gonna live remote in the province, in the mountains, in the jungle. It sounds good, but like if you got a medical emergency out there, like in the mountains of Libacao, it's gonna take you an hour to get, at least an hour to get you to a decent hospital, man. Ooh, sunny now, man. Look at that. The sun is like coming out now. Not many clouds anymore. I see blue skies on the right here. What are the requirements to get a safe deposit box to keep valuable documents? I would have to ask the bank because I don't have a safety deposit. I ain't got no valuables like that to like keep in the bank here. But they do have them. They do have safety deposit boxes in Calibo. One, Pinay, it's a good incentive to stay healthy for sure, right? That's why you exercise. That's why you eat healthy. You know, it's like anyone medical retirees. Me and my husband were discussing about the cars. I don't know how to drive a manual. We were discussing that we really need an automatic so I can drive him. LOL. Yeah, a lot of vehicles here in the Philippines now are automatic, Pinay Heart. There are still manual vehicles here, but most of your newer vehicles now are automatic. If I go to the Toyota dealership here, I would say 75% of their vehicles are automatic, only 25 are manual. Do you have a defibrillator? No, I do not have a defibrillator. Back and like I said, some even some of the medics here, some of the town, the municipality rescue people don't even carry it, you know. So they're gonna be doing CPR on you. They're gonna be doing CPR on you, man. Joe Canoe, back in the 80s, we had a woodshop teacher in our school district giving a safety lesson on the power saws and was looking at the student talking as he, whoo, wow, man, that would be traumatic to see that, man. That would be traumatic. My husband first emerged back in Jacksonville, Florida. Was the first time I drove the freeway. Yeah, you had to be you were forced to drive, right? That's why I made sure Dazzle got her license. I made sure Dazzle went through a driving school because she's my emergency, man. I cannot rely on anybody else. You know, I know Dazzle. She can get me to the hospital. I had to chase the ambulance when they transferred me outside the military hospital. Hello, all, Michael. Would anyone build a Mad Max car when society collapsed? Society collapsed. But that's some outstanding experience. HD Mad Max was filmed in the Philippines, filmed in the desert area of Luzon. It took me about a week to learn how to drive a manual car. Pinahard. After that, the first 5 cars were manual. Fun to drive. Yeah, it's easy enough to learn manual. It's not difficult to learn a manual. Kuya Bon, good thing military base was 30 minutes away, but took him next day to let him be seen by civilian. It's crazy. From 5 p.m. we were at the Navy checks. One, yes, I think it was Ilocos. Yes, you're correct. You're correct, One. It's in the Bangi area, the sand dunes, northern Ilocos area. You can an SDB with a bank. Sorry, I don't know that requirements. Even I work in a bank. My work is an upper floor, not in the branch. Yeah. Not sure about the Mad Max films, but the first one was in Luzon. Part of the military adventures, Pinahard. For sure, part of it. Mad Max is great. Mad Max car, yeah. I'm sure you'll probably run into, if we do get to that point, Mad Max, that the same problem in the Mad Max movie is the fuel. The fuel will be very important. I taught myself how to drive. I bought a manual without driving before, just reading about how to drive. Then practice driving weekends while I was in South Carolina. Ilocos Norte, you can still do driving in the sand dunes. Yep. Really, really. My husband kept telling me about it, but the first time I tried, oh my God. Everyone in California are so impatient. Oh, for sure, right? For sure. All right. Oh, I saw this one article regarding cassava. I guess in Tagum City in this is in Mindanao area. Uh, Dangerous cassava in Tagum City. Residents are being warned by the Tagum City Agricultural Office not to consume recently reported stolen industrial cassava. Kamoteng kahoy, very common. Kamoteng kahoy. Dazzle loves cassava due to health risk. So I guess there's this kamote. This is cassava that's like industrial use. I never heard of it myself, but this variety contains high levels of cyanide, a toxic chemical. This type is not safe for human consumption, even when cooked. So just a warning here from if you're near Tagum City, don't eat the cassava. Don't eat the industrial cassava. That would make me nervous to eat any cassava now, man. Because some of the symptoms, it says here, chest pain, dizziness, nausea, difficulty breathing, irregular heart rate, loss of consciousness, including death. I might have to check my cassava source here in Aklan, man. Usually I like the cassava cake that they sell at the bakery. Man, I might be apprehensive now to be eating cassava, man, after reading this. Man, they just scare you with all these health warnings here in the Philippines. And if it's not the air, now it's cassava. What the heck, man? Or fish, the aloy fish. I used to love eating aloy fish. Now I wouldn't touch that fish anymore, man. They're having poison fish, poison aloy fish. What the heck is going on, man? What the heck is going on? All right. I think I hit all the news items that I have. I still got a little bit of time here, so I'll read through the comments, and then I might hit a topic before I close my morning live stream today. Have a sign in the back that says, "Learning to drive the man." Please be. I see that like student driver. Man, it's funny when I see the student driver here in Aklan. Their sign is gigantic, man, in the back when you're driving. It makes me smile every time I see it. A gigantic sign, student driver. That's a good idea. Adam told me I should practice our car. He bought Mustang. I'm supposed to drive them, but so he got me automatic, on automatic. It's like the student, yeah. Here, man, it's not a sticker, man. It's almost like a small billboard, like tarpaulin that says student driver, covering the whole back of the car, man. It's kind of funny. I saw it on the main highway here one time. It made me laugh, man. All right, I still got a little bit of time here. I'll hit this topic. Vaughn actually gave me this idea for this topic. He was what was it? I think it's a comment that Vaughn made. In one of our videos, and we got into a discussion regarding corruption here in the Philippines. So that I'm going to end with that topic. I'm going to end with the corruption here in the Philippines. It's a Hellcat, then it's too much car. The thing about here in the Philippines, there's corruption anywhere in the world, right? We know this, that corruption happens everywhere. The thing here in the Philippines, though, the corruption here is on another level. You know, I knew this, growing up. I hear the corruption back in the 70s, martial law, all that. I heard that. But the last 15 years, I've really seen the level of corruption here. It starts actually even at the lowest level, even like at the barangay level. Uh, there's really no hiding, unfortunately, from the corruption here. Uh, it's almost like a part of life for most Filipinos, and most Filipinos understand it. I think a lot of the expats, foreigners that come here, it surprises many, but you don't really feel it until you're here. The level of corruption here, government agencies, land transportation, very notorious. Even like at the local barangay, even like a town, like a small town. Let's say elections happen, right? Elections happen here. Gonna be coming up here soon. The national elections, regional elections, and elections here, they make rules for like campaigning rules. You're not supposed to do this, but all that goes out the window. A lot of people actually, there's vote buying is big here. It's, especially here in the province, where people will buy your votes here. People will hand money because the voting is so huge here. Because what happens is like, when if it's a new mayor uh, gets elected, a lot of times the mayor will clean house. Wherever the office is, wherever the mayor will sit, all the employees is gonna want new employees. A lot of times it's the mayor's relatives. Nepotism is like all over the place here. Not only in government, in business here. It's who you know a lot of times to get hired. It doesn't matter here if you're like the smartest, you did the best in an exam or application. Your application is like sparkling. You're the best candidate for the job. Nepotism. Nepotism is big here. Family members get hired here because, to me, in the Philippines mind, you got, hey man, that's my cousin, that's my nephew. Why would I hire somebody else when I'm the boss? I get to hire anybody, and that happens here. Same thing like the government offices, the elected officials here. They're gonna want to surround themselves with their relatives because they could trust them. For one, they can trust their relatives for the most part. For the most part. Hey, Castaway Drift, Michael S., my brother from another, the Duke of Duma, in Dumaguete City. Good morning, Michael. Duke of Duma from Fortune. All right, Brian. I still have a many pack signed when running. All right, for run. I have a glove. I have one boxing glove that's signed by Manny Pacquiao. I got it somewhere here in the house. A relative of mine gave it to me as a gift. Yep, it is who you know. Really sad. Yeah, the level of nepotism here in the Philippines is like it another level. Another level. It's really it's just a lot of the corruption just happens. I'm sure everybody heard about the flood control project. How much money got stolen there? Before that, it was the pork barrel. Pork barrel is when a politician has set money set aside for that. Senator, congressman, whatever, and they could use it for whatever project. And that was the big thing before, was pork barrel. Now it's the flood control, and pretty soon there's gonna be another one. It's just the way it is here. There's gonna be a new scandal, a new scam, a new. Right now, a lot of news on about the maleta. Maleta is a suitcase. It's big suitcase. Maleta. Maleta scam is what they're calling it. Now politicians are getting paid with like suitcases full of money. They are measuring money now by suitcases. How many suitcases it's going to cost me to accomplish something? It's unfortunate, but you don't really, it's hard to understand. Like for me, I don't let it affect my retirement here in the Philippines. I do my part on what I can do, right? I help people move here. I take care of my family. That's about all. As far as like the politics here, the corruption here, I know it has existed here for so many years. It's not gonna go away anytime soon. Not in my lifetime, anyway. Like I was telling Vaughn. I mean, he's thinking he's more. He wants to do his part, and I applaud him that he wants to do it. His part here. But I told Vaughn, you just got to be careful here in the Philippines. Your political, especially if you're coming from the United States, you're a Filipino American like me. I'm a Filipino American that moved back here 15 years ago. I'm not looked at here the same as a local Filipino. I'm not in a local Filipino's eyes. I'm not full Filipino, and I hope, Vaughn, you understand that, because I'm just trying to keep you out of trouble, because you got to be careful of what you say here. Sometimes your intentions might be good here. You want to help. You want to help the Philippines, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful what you say here. And the people here in the Philippines, and there's been activists, many activists here in the Philippines, many people that want to change things here in the Philippines, and a lot of times, it doesn't go well for them. I've even seen some of them get killed here in the Philippines. So just be careful. I know your intentions are well, man, but for me, it's like I'm retired. I'm 60 years old, soon to be 60 years old. I just want to enjoy the rest of my life with my family, friends that I can help. The politics, the corruption, all that. I don't get involved with that, because same dynamic that happens in the U.S., where Democrats, Republicans, people get triggered with that in the U.S. Same thing happens here in the Philippines. Political parties here, whether you're Duterte, Marcos, might not be seen right now, but come election time, it's going to ramp up a little bit more during election times, and the same dynamic. To me, nothing good comes out of that here in the Philippines. Sounds like the beginning of a horror movie. I was driving and stopped on the side of the road and stole it. Howdy, Gino A. Allen, my good friend in Texas. Getting in here late. Oh, no worries. And we are doing an evening walk at the awesome, man, awesome. Today I'm gonna have to walk with Dazzle, because earlier it rained here a little bit and I didn't do my morning walk. So I'll walk with Dazzle later at sunset. I got rain this morning. Castaway Drift. This morning we got rain here. Bumblebee is still wet outside, I can see. Got some here, Duma. First, I know this one's the first time in a while. That's why it kind of caught me off guard, because I was ready to go walk. I opened my door. I was like, oh, wow, it's raining. Can LBC deliver me one of those suit? I wish, man. Give me some of that suitcase, man. Man, some of the pictures they'll be showing on the news here, man. Like 10 dozen suitcases of 1,000 peso bills, man. It's incredible, the amount of money. They're measuring money now in suitcases, man. Hello, my brother Gino. God bless, brother Raymond. My God bless you. Thank you so much. If the maleta, see, it's right there. If maleta is true, Portia, maleta is true. Those are kickbacks in public works contract. So there is a bidding. Who wins the contract? The winning bidder is the one that bids the lowest. But sometimes the participants are. Yeah, that's making the Facebook is big on the memes here. A lot of memes here about the maleta suitcase of money. It is hard to get justice in there for sure. Yeah. It's like yeah, it's hard to for me. I was trying to explain it to Vaughn. I think until Vaughn becomes boots on the ground here in the Philippines, until he sees it physically here in the Philippines, sees it, you're gonna see the level of like corruption here, the level of like it's in another level. You know, I've never experienced anything like it where you got to be careful about everything you do here, everything you say here when in regards to political parties, political people connected. You got political families here in the Philippines. Pretty much anywhere you go in the Philippines, any province, any city you go, there's usually a family that controls a political dynasty, right? You know, they're the governor of the province, they're the mayors of the towns, they're the barangay captains, you know, everybody, you know, these political dynasties here in the Philippines. It's hard to like imagine them losing like in their specific province, you know. Once they get a hold of that province, city, they just you know, grandfather was the governor, now it's the father, the grandson's next in line. You know, the political dynasty, they just got so much money, you know, so much money rides in them staying in power. So that's why I don't really bother myself with politics here in the Philippines. It doesn't matter to me who's in charge here. You know, it's like not going to change my life here in Aklan province. That's for sure. I just do my own my fair share. You know, it's like I help out at Liana School. I do my part to be a good person, to contribute, but I can't fix the I can't fix the poverty in the Philippines. I can't fix the political landscape here in the Philippines. But more power to the people that try to do it. But I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful here doing that in the Philippines, because easy for you to gain enemies here in the Philippines, and you don't want enemies here, man. But one thing about you get into that political thing with enemies here, man. Things can go sideways for you here pretty quick. Related to each, there's so that's a fixed building. Then the politician's pork barrel is used for the project in the area represent the contractor is getting kickbacks. Yeah, it's all, you know, big kickbacks, right? Big money involved, right? Fortune, it's not like little amount of money. Team, patience is the key. Amen to that. Amen to that, team. You have to bring a lot of patience here in the Philippines. Nothing happens here. Like I know it's like the colonel. Perfect example. Colonel's like patiently waiting for his ORCR from the LTO. That's all you can do here sometimes. You know, it's wait. You know, it's like you know what can you do? You can't go. You can make noise at the dealership. You can go to the LTO. If you can even talk to a person at the LTO, not gonna help you. It's best to just wait and be patient. Nothing moves here fast, so it's common to see things like the LTO acting slow on registration. Nothing new to us. Not, you know, for people that's been here for many years. It is what it is. We've learned to deal with it. Pina, my husband mentioned about the RPG. Hit the like. Thank you, JP. Michael. Yeah, I feel you. I'm a Filipino redneck. A Filipino redneck. That's funny. Dad's Filipino, mom's from Georgia. I won't future in politics. I get enough here. Exactly. To me, you know, it's like, but I do understand some people want to, you know, they're into politics in the U.S. They want to continue. To me, just me, my recommendation, you know, if you're coming for the U.S., leave all the politics behind in the U.S. and don't start the politics here in the Philippines. You know, just live your retirement life, enjoy your life. If you're thinking you're gonna make a difference here with the poverty and the politics here, you know, unfortunately, I just don't see it. You know, you know, it can get you in a lot of trouble here. Especially if you're a Filipino American, the minute they hear American and you're letting your opinions voice out here in the Philippines, not gonna go well for you here, unfortunately. Are you going to move to Dazal Gino's Island, Pinay Hard? No, I think Pinay Heart's more like near Fortune in Cavite because they already have property there, if I remember correctly. Panay Posse needs another lady member. Pinay Heart, no? And he wanted to have farms, something we are long for to be. Plus, we know some of you over there. If God going to take me, so be it. No need to prolong my life. Yeah, that right. It's like me. I think after I experienced cancer there. To me, I'm just living my day to day. It's like you said, if God wants to take me, I'm good with it. I've had a good life. I've been grateful for my life. So to me, every day is just a blessing at this point. GP, maybe the sheriff needs a deputy or two. LOL. Brian, sheriff offices in the US have many people in admin. Just enjoy and help the people. They will not bother you. Yeah, just be a good member of your community. To me, there's enough opportunities here in the Philippines. As an expat, as a foreigner, where you come here, if you really do want to do like positive things and help, you can help in schools here. Plenty of volunteer activities here that you could do. To me, just the politics here, uh, it can get you in trouble here if you get involved in politics here. Especially, if you're a foreigner, American, even if you're Filipino American, would not be my recommendation. It's great to see your positive, Kuya Gino. I'm glad to see a good friend that appreciate life. We are all here in limited time. We are, man. It's like me. I know that. Things can change, and it's tomorrow's not guaranteed. Any one of us can be gone tomorrow. Any one of us cannot want. Tomorrow might not be the day you wake up. That can happen. You hear that stories all the time. So you just got to be grateful for the moment, the now. It's like I don't be like now. I'm eternity. I don't think about 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm just thinking about tomorrow. I'm hoping I get to wake up another day tomorrow. We must live a profound life, so no regrets on our deathbed. Amen. Amen. For me, no regrets at all. I've lived a great life. It's like I think I'm leaving a good legacy. I have enough that I've done. Hopefully, get me up there. It's like hopefully when it's my time to be judged. Hopefully I did enough good in my life. The province LTO, I think, is like a satellite office. I think the license plates either come from the regional office. That's why it takes a while. I think so. You are correct. You are correct. Us, Region 6, I don't know where their main office, Region 6. More likely, I'm thinking Iloilo City for Region 6. But it took a long time. Like the license plate on my tricycle, Bumblebee, my motorbike, 9 years for me to get my license plate. I had a temporary plate on it for like 9 years before I got it last year. Finally, I got a permanent plate last year. In Rocky 4, Ivan Drago said, if he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. Rocky 4, man. Who's that? Who's the actor? I can't remember Ivan Drago now, but the name of the actor. The Russian guy. Really, I just want to retire in peace. Thanks. Yes, right. To me, that's the thing. It's like when we're coming to the Philippines. Like for me, for many of you thinking of moving here to the Philippines, I think the best way to handle the patience, the Philippine part of it, just come here and retire and enjoy it peacefully. Live the rest of your life in peace. Find that little piece of happiness or peacefulness in the province. Maybe you can find it in a city in the Philippines, but just find a peaceful life. It's like you've done your work. You've done your work in the U.S. You got a pension now. Just enjoy your pension. Dolph, there you go. Dolph, I couldn't remember. Dolph Lundgren, man. Dolph Lundgren. Thank you for that, HD. Yep, Brian, Derek. Did you ever take a Mac flight when you? Oh yeah, plenty, plenty. I was in the Air Force, man. I was in the Air Force, so Mac flight was part of the Air Force. Lots available to us. I've gone. I've been to Alaska on the Mac flight. I've been to Japan. I've been to Korea. I've been to Guam. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Travis in California. Just many places on the Mac flight. Used it extensively in my Air Force career. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream right here. Kal-El is still sleeping. All right, Kal-El. The whole time Kal-El's just laying here. His eyes are open now, but he was sleeping the whole time. I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna bother Kal-El, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the live stream today. I appreciate everybody's time. Trying to get involved in politics is like a crip mocking into Blood's neighborhood or trying to move into the mafia's business. He also played He-Man in the man. I never got to see that, the He-Man Masters in the Universe. But I know he did. He did more movies. I know Dolph Lundgren did a lot of movies. Great live, Kuya. Thank you, Merle. Appreciate you, my brother. Moving. HD, salute. All right, salute, HD. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the live stream. Everyone have a great day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Everyone, stay blessed. And Brian, I will see you soon, my brother. Take care, my brother. Take care, Lowell. Appreciate you. Yeah, Dazzle. I'm gonna check on Dazzle, see if she's awake already. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone, stay blessed. Stay blessed.